There's a built-in setting inside you, an invisible design of your inner world. And it decides whether life bends toward you or whether you bend toward life. You might not feel it clearly, but this inner position is the quiet force shaping every event, every meeting, every result you experience. This has nothing to do with luck or destiny or talent. It is about the frequency you send out, the energy of how deeply you see or fail to see your own worth. In the next few minutes, we're going to look at why so much of life feels like a constant struggle. Why your prayers seem to echo with no answer. Why manifestation often feels like a desperate negotiation with something you can't quite touch. We're going to talk about a truth that many people overlook. A truth that isn't about gaining external power, but about an inner seat of authority that most people abandon without even noticing. Most people live like outsiders in their own kingdom, waiting at the gates, hoping someone will invite them in. But what if no invitation is ever coming from outside? What if your whole experience is simply waiting for you to shift one single posture inside yourself? This is not just a thought exercise. It is an invitation to look again at the very base of your life. You may uncover layers within yourself that have been asleep for years, and you may finally understand why the universe often seems silent or unresponsive. At the end of this journey, there is no spell, no complicated method. There is just a quiet inner shift, a simple click of awareness that changes everything without you needing to say a single word. You were taught to ask. You were taught to beg, the echoes of generations before you live inside your own nervous system. A deep memory whispers, "Prove you deserve to be here. Make yourself small so others accept you. Don't take up space unless someone gives you permission." This old conditioning is so strong it feels like gravity. You move through life as though standing before a panel deciding whether you're worthy. But here's the truth. Real inner authority does not negotiate. A queen does not ask for what is already hers. She knows it not from pride, but from a calm, steady certainty. Every person carries a core of this inner authority, a center that has nothing to do with ego or the personality you present to the world. It is the deepest part of you, the place where your own authority lies. But most people have never stepped inside that place. They circle around it, afraid of being too much or not enough. They wait for a sign, for approval, for someone to tell them they can finally arrive. And while they wait, the throne inside them stays empty. Life does not respond to your words. It doesn't respond to affirmations or vision boards. They come from a place of emptiness. Life responds with complete accuracy to the state of your inner being, your true energy when no one else is looking. If inside you feel like a beggar, life will keep giving you situations that force you to beg. If inside you feel like you must justify your right to exist, reality will keep demanding explanations from you. This is not judgment. It is not punishment. It is simply resonance. There is a huge difference between arrogance and true inner authority. Arrogance comes from an inner wound. It is loud, restless, hungry for approval. It needs attention and applause. It constantly tries to prove it deserves to be here. True inner authority is quiet. It doesn't argue. It doesn't fight for recognition. It simply exists. A queen does not need to prove her royalty. Her presence already shows it, not because of crowns or titles, but because of a deep certainty that asks for nothing. Life recognizes this difference instantly. It ignores the mask and responds only to what is real inside you. Maybe as you hear this, something inside you feels uncomfortable. Maybe there is resistance. That resistance is important. Pay attention to it. It shows you exactly where an old identity is trying hard to hold on. An identity built on the belief that someone else is responsible for what happens in your life. But that identity is not your real self. It's a costume shaped by fear and the need to be accepted. Even if the price of that acceptance is abandoning yourself. There is a wound inside many people that goes deeper than personal memory. A wound formed from not being seen, not being understood, not being mirrored for who you truly are. Maybe as a child you looked for approval and found only silence or criticism. Maybe you received love only when you made yourself smaller, quieter, easier to handle. These early experiences planted a powerful belief that your worth is not natural but conditional, that it must be earned, that someone outside you must grant it. And so you wait. You wait to be seen. You wait to be chosen. You wait for someone to tell you that you are finally enough. But while you wait, you are sending out a frequency of lack, and life can only reflect the signal you send. It is not punishment, it is simply how energy works. This waiting creates a kind of emotional paralysis. Imagine you are locked in a room, but the key has been in your pocket the whole time. You've always had it. You could open the door whenever you choose, but you sit by the door waiting for someone else to unlock it. You hold the key, but you don't believe you're allowed to use it. This is how self-exile works. You step away from your own power, not because anyone pushed you out, but because you forgot your own access. Inside you, there are both receptive and active energies. No matter your gender, you carry both. The receptive part is magnetic. It draws life toward you. The active part builds, directs, and creates. Both are meant to work together, but when you forget your own value, they fall out of balance. And when they fall out of balance, life stops flowing the way it should. When your inner feminine energy is hurt, you lose your natural pull. You lose the ability to receive. And so you start reaching, chasing, grabbing, trying to take what was meant to come towards you on its own. And the more you chase, the faster it slips away. Have you noticed how you repeat the same patterns in your life, the same relationships with different faces, moments where you feel unseen, undervalued, or forced to prove your worth again and again? This isn't random. Your unconscious mind is loyal. It looks for ways to confirm what it believes deep inside. If you're quiet, unspoken, belief is, I am not enough, or I must serve to be loved. Life will hand you situations that make you feel like the servant. Not because life is punishing you, but because it reflects what you believe about yourself, even if that belief is buried so deeply your conscious mind refuses to admit it. This is why your inner state swings so wildly. One day you feel special, unique, almost above everything. The next day you feel invisible, forgotten, small. This sharp jump between feeling more than and feeling less than is a clear sign that you haven't found your center yet. The center is not either of those. The center is not a comparison. It simply exists. It's where you stop measuring yourself against anyone because you finally see that comparison itself is a form of abandoning who you are. And what happens to sovereignty when it's rejected? It doesn't disappear. Energy never disappears, it only shifts. When you turn away from your inner queen, she moves into the shadows, and there she twists. She turns into the quiet controller who uses subtle manipulation because she isn't allowed to show her power openly. Or she becomes the martyr, showing her greatness through suffering, proving her worth by how much pain she can carry. Or she becomes the hidden judge, silently criticizing others to feel superior without taking on real responsibility. These shadow versions are not evil. They are simply real energy that never got a real place to express itself. Your authority, your strength, your ability to shape your life, all of it stays in the shadow as long as you refuse to bring it into the light. And it waits there, sometimes for decades, wanting to be accepted. But why the resistance? Why is it so frightening to claim your own power? Because true sovereignty means full responsibility, as long as you believe someone else is responsible for your life. Your parents, your boss, the system, society. You have an excuse. You get to stay the victim. And the victim is always innocent, never has to grow, and always has someone else to blame. But the moment you step into your own throne, that story ends. You see that everything in your inner world is either created by you or allowed by you. There are no outside saviors, no one else to point at, no more stories to hide behind. There's only you and the choices you make in every single moment. That is the real fear of greatness. It's not the fear of failing. It's the fear of your full power and the responsibility it demands from you. And because of that, most people choose to stay small, to wait, to hope someone will rescue them, someone who will never appear, because they cannot appear. The only one who can save you is you. Not your ego, but your deeper self, the part of you that was never hurt, that has always been whole, and is simply waiting for you to see it. So you look for powerful people outside yourself. You look for teachers, guides, leaders, or partners who seem to have the strength you lack. You place your own unclaimed power onto them, hoping they will give you the peace you haven't found within. But you forget that you are the source, and so you search everywhere for something that has always been inside you. This search can go on forever, and it will not end until you understand that what you are seeking is the quality of your own consciousness. This is not about self-improvement. It's not about building skills or polishing your personality. It's a deep shift from thinking you are only your ego to experiencing the deeper self that sits beneath all your roles, masks, and old wounds. It's the moment you stop trying so hard to be someone good and start recognizing who you already are. And who you are is sovereign. Not because you worked for it, but because sovereignty is the natural state of the true self. The self does not argue. It does not explain. It does not defend. It simply exists. When you touch this inner place, even briefly, you discover a silence inside you that needs nothing. It proves nothing. It doesn't look for applause. This silence is not empty. It's full. Full of presence, certainty, and a power that never has to shout to be felt. This is the frequency of the Queen. It is not dramatic. It is steady and clear. The way to reach this place is through an inner union. The masculine and feminine within you have to come together, not fight each other. This means you stop searching outside yourself for someone to complete you. You realize you were already whole, that the different parts within you can work together. And when this happens, your entire energy changes. You stop acting from lack. You start living from fullness. And the universe, which only responds to vibration, must respond to you differently. But this inner union requires a death. The death of the beggar inside you. The version of you that explains, defends, waits for approval, and hopes to be chosen. That part must die. It's not an easy death. It feels like losing a familiar identity, a safe home. But it's necessary. You cannot hold on to the old self and fully step into the new one. You cannot be both the beggar and the sovereign. You must choose. And often, this choice doesn't come with loud music or dramatic moments. It comes quietly, in a single breath, when you suddenly understand you have always been the ruler of your own life. Every act of giving up your power was a choice. No one took it from you. You handed it over again and again, out of fear, out of habit, out of the belief that shrinking kept you safe. But shrinking never keeps you safe. It only keeps you small. And a small life is not a lived life. The shift that changes everything is not loud or forceful. It's a quiet inner certainty, a presence that does not question its worth and does not need to justify itself to anyone. This posture isn't created through willpower. It's born from clear understanding. You realize you were never outside your own kingdom. You only believed you were. And in that moment, you rise, not physically, but inside, and take the seat that has always been waiting for you. Once you step into this posture, something deep inside you changes. You begin to declare instead of negotiate. This doesn't mean you become demanding or controlling. It means you accept what is already true within you and let it show in your outer world. You stop asking the universe for permission. You understand that the universe works through you, that you are not separate from creation. You are a part of it. And from that understanding, your actions change. Your voice changes. You change. The energy of a command is very different from the energy of a request. A request carries the feeling of lack. It says, I don't have this. Please give it to me. A command, the inner kind, carries the feeling of fullness. It says, this is already true at a deeper level, and I'm aligning with it now. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to the energy behind them. And when your energy is fullness, reality must echo fullness back. Doubt is the voice of exile. Every time you question your own inner authority, you hand your crown back to chaos. You step down from your throne and return to waiting, to uncertainty, to depending on things outside yourself. But the throne remains. It never disappears. It is always there, ready for you, the moment you remember. The real question is not whether you are worthy. The real question is whether you are willing to take on the responsibility that comes with your worth. Queens do not blame. They do not wait. They do not hand their crown to others. They see clearly that everything in their kingdom is either created by them or allowed by them. This is radical self-responsibility. It is not a burden placed on you, but a deep kind of freedom. Because when you accept that you have created or allowed all of it, you also see that you have the power to change it. You are not a victim of your situation. You are the creator of your inner position toward every situation. And that inner position shapes everything you feel and everything you live through. The universe is not a judge. It is a mirror. It does not punish or reward based on some moral rule. It simply reflects the frequency you are sending out through the way you truly see yourself. If, at your core, you feel like someone who must wait, prove, or ask for permission, then life will keep handing you moments that reflect that belief. Not because you deserve it, but because resonance has no exceptions. Have you noticed how people who are calm and centered inside seem to attract easily what others chase? This is not magic. This is vibration. When you stop vibrating from a place of not having, you stop sending out signals of lack. And the universe, being only a reflection, cannot return lack to you. It can only match what you hold inside. This is why all change starts internally. It starts with the quality of your awareness and how you recognize yourself. The belief that you must earn your place is another form of inner imprisonment. Earning assumes there is an outside authority judging you. But who is this authority? God, the universe, fate. In truth, it is only the echo of your own inner judge, the one you were taught to obey. You have taken in the voice that says you are not enough, and now you live trying to satisfy that voice. But the queen does not explain herself. She understands that she is an expression of the divine. Not separate from it, not lesser than it, but a channel through which creation moves. As long as you believe real power lives outside you in money, in status, in a partner, in approval, you will stay a servant to those things. You hand them control over your inner peace, and the universe simply waits. It waits for you to see that the only true power is the power of your own consciousness, the ability to know who you are beyond anything you can touch or measure. There is a paradox here. This is not about controlling everything around you. It is about stopping the habit of asking for permission to exist. It is a grounded surrender, not a weak one. You recognize you are not separate from the source of everything. And from that knowing, you release the fight. But this release comes from fullness, not from giving up. It is the release of who you thought you needed to be so you can return to who you already are. As you live from this new inner place, synchronicities start to appear. But they are not the cause of your shift. They are the confirmation. They are the universe nodding at you, showing you that your inner frequency has changed. The signs are beautiful, but they are not the point. The point is the quiet peace inside you that no longer needs signs because it stands on its own. When you begin to live from the posture of the queen, you will feel a different kind of loneliness. It is not the loneliness of being left behind. It is the loneliness of sovereignty. Some connections you once held will fade, not through conflict, but because they no longer match your resonance. People who live in the energy of waiting, blaming, and begging will not understand your new posture. They may feel uneasy because you have become a mirror for something they are not ready to face. This is not arrogance. It is simply resonance. You are a tuning fork. You draw in people and situations that match your note. When your note changes, your whole field changes. Old relationships built on need, approval, or shared victimhood cannot remain at this new level. They fall away not because you push them out, but because they can no longer connect with your inner kingdom. A true sovereign needs no subjects, needs no audience, rules the inner space with or without witnesses because sovereignty does not depend on recognition. It is not a show, it is a way of being, and this way of being is whole in itself. There is nothing to prove, nothing to exhibit. The crown is not worn to be noticed. It is worn because it is the natural state of your being. You may realize that there was never a battle, only a long hesitation to sit on the throne that was always meant for you. You believe the stories of not being enough, of lack, of needing to prove your worth. But those stories were never real. They were shadows on the wall that you treated as truth. And now, in this moment of seeing clearly, those shadows fade. Not because you fought them, but because you stopped feeding them and turned toward what is real. This change happens quietly. There is no loud revolution, no dramatic moment for others to admire. It is a soft inner shift that transforms everything. No spectacle, no explaining, no need to convince anyone. It is as if an unseen hand rearranges the inner space of your mind, and suddenly everything fits. Not because you learned something new, but because you finally understood what was always there. The self invites you again and again. It never forces you. The invitation is alive in every breath. It is the invitation to stop betraying yourself, to stop shrinking, to stop waiting for a permission slip that will never arrive, because it never had to. You are the permission. You are the authority. You are the sovereign of your own inner land. And this truth waits quietly for you to remember it. Not as a thought, but as a lived reality. In every moment you choose, do you rule, or do you walk away from your own center? The universe responds to that choice with complete faithfulness. No delay, no exception. Your reality is always the reflection of where you stand internally. And once you settle onto your throne for real, once you hold the posture of sovereignty, not as an act, but as your truth, then everything shifts. Not because the universe changed, but because you changed. And the universe can only show you who you are now. There is no promise that this path is simple. No promise that others will always understand it. But there is a promise that it is real. And this truth is the only authority that matters. Not the views of others, not the approval of the world, but the quiet, steady knowing inside you that you have returned home to yourself. And from here, you live not as someone waiting for permission, but as someone who simply is. This journey never truly ends. The sovereign is not crowned once and finished. The crown is a choice, a posture you return to again and again, every day, every moment. You will have moments when you slip, when old patterns pull you back, when the urge to shrink feels strong. That is human. But now you know the difference. You know the feeling of sitting on your throne. And you know the feeling of standing outside the gates. And knowing that difference gives you the option. If something inside you is moving as you hear this, if a memory is rising telling you this is true, that is not random. That is your own self calling you home. It is not waiting for the perfect moment. It is waiting for you to understand that this moment right now is the moment, not tomorrow, not when things change, not when you feel ready. Now, in this breath, in this pause between words,